We'll send the YouTube for now. All right. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's start recording. Check, check. Check, check, check. Mic check, mic check, mic check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Mic check, check, check. Mic check, check, check. Mic check, check. All right, here we go. Going live in 3, 2, 1. What is up, team? Welcome back to headquarters. Your CEO here. And I'm still hot from the last episode. Still hot because so many people are on the verge of starvation. Still hot because federal charges are being handed down left and right. And frankly, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I know mine are in the mail. I know mine are pending. But it's okay. You know, they say not to covet what others have. Those federal charges, though, hey, just make sure that mine are nice. Make sure that mine are newsworthy. If you can, please. And when you come kick down my door, make sure you call the local news. I don't want no national. I want the local news to get this money, because that's what I believe in. When you come kick down my door, because I believe that my community should get the money and the billionaires shouldn't get the money, at least call the local news so that they can get a good story. It's the least that you can do. With that being said, the announcement of federal charges today by congressional candidate Kat Abou-Ghazaleh in Illinois' 9th District. She's facing federal charges for her protesting in the ICE detention, around the ICE detention center, where she was pepper sprayed and beat down for the world to see. This administration does not care, though. This administration is used to the brutalization of women, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that they're going to have to learn the true power of the working class people. Because we've tried this ballot box so many times, only for it to continually be co-opted by those with money, by those with power. Even the nice, progressive candidates that we run, if they're not booted out from the Democrats, they're labeled socialists, communists, whatever buzzword label that the propaganda machines will run for them. Enough is enough, you know? And if enough isn't enough, then at least we have to play the same game. That's the problem. We can't play the game if we're playing by two different sets of rules. I understand that we still have to uphold something, but we need to get creative. We need to be substantially more creative with how we're combating the threats that we face today. And those threats are many. Those threats are serious. And we need to get serious. I see that we are getting serious, but it doesn't take away the lack of seriousness that we've had. And people will say, yes, people have been in the streets, people have been organizing, people have been doing, what have you been doing? Obviously, the degree of seriousness has not been enough, because we see on the right how serious they take it. We see multi-generational think tanks. We see floods of money. We see a fanatical cult machine designed for the sole purpose of taking and wielding power. So if they can do it, why can't we? You know? It's a problem when we do it. When they do it, it's fun, but when we do it, And why are we living like that? The longest speech on the Senate floor, the longest speech on the House floor, and what has changed? Materially, nothing. But that's because those people, for all their slick words and all their influencer videos, those people do not work for you. Those people still work for the billionaires. Those people still work for the system that was designed to keep you down. Well, I'm tired of being down. I'm ready to be up. I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to fly, soar, spread my wings. The energy is different, and we all feel it. I think the energy is different because everyone is playing with fire. We see some of the people, some of the flamethrowers, the biggest flamethrowers, face the repercussions of all of the hatred that they've put into the world. And for some people, it would make them think, maybe I should not participate in any conversations. I should not be in the public square, the internet forum. I should not be using my voice or my face or anything, because these times are scary. These times are different. These times are not different. They may be scary, but these times, if anything, are comparable in many ways to all the times that have always been. There has always been some problem, some apparatus, some mechanism of hatred and disgust festering amongst the community. In many ways, it's been seen in the form of greed. In many societies, especially over the course of the last 1,000 years, we can see the greed, the opulence, the distortion of reality, the difference in life for those who have, for those who take, and for those who are stolen from. These thieves continued to come and demonize us for trying to protect ourselves, for trying to protect what is ours. Our time, our life, every day, every moment that we spend on this earth is ours. But they take it from us, they steal it from us, and they sell it back to us. We have paid time off. A nice little week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on who you're working for. 4 months if you're lucky in America. But for many Americans, that reality is no paid time off. Their reality is to work consistently every day. Their reality is 8 to 12 to 16-hour shifts and still cannot afford food or housing or health care. We haven't even talked about the health care, but that's their reality. And why is that a reality in the best country in the world? And maybe it's nationalism. I'm born here. Maybe I'm biased. We are the best. But if this is the best, well, I'd hate to see the worst. If this is the best, when food is sitting on the shelves, but people can't afford it, the food is no different. It's no different if the shelves would be empty. Because the illusion of choice, the illusion of ability to attain, is worse than if it wasn't there in the first place. It's worse that houses sit empty on Blackstone's balance sheet, appreciating in value. That is infinitely worse than if that house didn't even exist, if that house was never built. It is infinitely worse because it is wasteful. What are we doing? And do I waste? Of course. I live in a consumer nation. I live where everything is readily available, disposable, obsolescent. Of course, there is an enormous amount of waste that I generate. I'm not holier than thou. But that's because that's the system that they've designed for me to operate in. They've made it so hard, so challenging in every way to try to negate or be minimalistic or to not have such a negative impact on our planet. They've made it nearly impossible. They've made it to where there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Yeah, I don't know. Let's pivot. The economic blackout that's coming. If you're seeing on the TikTok live, our background, the economic blackout, Operation Snap. We're giving it Operation Snap from your Antifa CEO. We're labeling it Operation Snap in response to the food benefits that they're trying to cut. Regardless of if the benefits are renewed or not, this is in motion. This is in response to them playing with the food in the first place. The billionaires will learn, and their millionaire lackeys in Congress will learn, that the games are over. You will not play games with our lives anymore. You will not. Operation Snap, economic blackout for a week, November 25th through December 2nd. You will see this pushed by so many people right now because this is one of the most important things that we can work on as acts of subversion. It is time that we up the ante and we match the energy that the billionaires have been bringing to us for a long time. This is the first pillar of the working class solidarity movement. The first pillar is us taking to the streets for a week-long protest, for a week-long party, for a week-long spending as little as possible, for leveraging our paid time off over the Thanksgiving holiday, for focusing on family, for focusing on ourselves, for focusing on not consuming, for making their Black Friday numbers not so impressive. I don't want to hear a good Q4 earnings call from any of these clowns. No, I would prefer they be honest. I would prefer they tell the truth that the working class people are struggling. Instead of bragging about their pricing power and their margins and their dividends and their stock buybacks, I would prefer they brag about how they've reduced those margins, how they've reduced the costs on the working class people. I want to see a bad Q4. Maybe that's just me. Hey, sick left radical here, but would it hurt these companies? Would it hurt them so bad to have a bad quarter or two just so we can have a break? I don't know. Is it their fiduciary responsibility? Are they going to be hauled into jail? Are they going to be sued or financially liable for having a bad quarter or two? I think they might. I think that the laws of this capitalist nation makes it to where these companies can't even help the people that they're robbing. And it's a shame that it's in writing that we sent representatives of our collective voice to go and put in writing that businesses must rob us or their shareholders can sue them. They are liable for damages from their shareholders if they do not rob us enough. And this is not, I'm not just making this up. The precedent for this was set when Henry Ford was sued by the Dodge brothers. Henry Ford was trying to set up if I remember correctly, a factory, and he wanted to, it was either pay the workers or it was some sort of with the compensation package. Regardless of what it was, the way that he wanted to spend his money in that instance would have benefited the workers just a little more and the shareholders a little less. But in the short term, the shareholders wanted maximum gain. And so they brought them to court, and the precedent was set that these companies must take as much as they can from us. And if they give us too much, if we still have too much left, their shareholders will hold them liable. They'll lose their jobs. Well, I'll tell you now, as your CEO of Antifa, I'll stay true to that logic, and I'll make sure to take everything the billionaires have. I'll leave them with enough. $10 million cap. I'm generous. We'll take everything the billionaires have and return it to the true shareholders, the American people, the people that allow for these margins in the first place. We've gotten lost in the sauce. We've gotten convoluted in so many ways. And I think this economic blackout, this week-long economic blackout from November 25th through December 2nd, I think it will return us back to our true sense of community, our true sense of unity, our true sense of working class solidarity. And that energy is what's got me feeling so fired up right now. It's a combination of anger and disgust that these Congress people would play games with people's stomach, people who are trying to plan the Thanksgiving holiday, in combination with the hope and the excitement that everyone is coming together, everyone is coalescing, that the working class energy right now, it's just all of it, full circle, has got me fired up. I hope you're fired up too, because we should be hot. We should be hotter than ever. We should be off the scale right now. And it's crazy. It's crazy that this is an act of defiance, that getting on here and speaking frankly about this administration's brutality against human beings, against the billionaires' brutality against human beings, that is an act of resistance. Whereas you're Antifa CEO, am I leading the resistance? No, we're all leaders of the resistance. We're all the CEO of Antifa. And that's the best part about it. In many ways, it was one of the hardest jobs I've ever taken up and one of the hardest jobs I've ever gotten. In other ways, it was the easiest endeavor I've ever taken up, because in my heart, I knew that's what I was supposed to do. Whenever Donnie signed the executive order labeling Antifa a T organization, it awakened something in me, and it made me realize that a position was now available, that a position needed to be filled, and that millions of people would come together to fill it. And we're here. We rose to the occasion almost immediately. To all of our grandmas out there, I do see you. You, just like I, are the CEO of Antifa, because we do not agree with this administration. I preach it and I preach it again. I say preach. It's not preach. I'm not preaching at you. It's just maybe my oratory skills, maybe the way that I speak is a reflection of what I was exposed to all my life. I grew up a fundamentalist Christian, and so many of the times in which I witnessed people speaking to a crowd, it was sermon. It was preachers. It was them giving us what was supposed to be the word of God. But many of those same churches that I attended then are now MAGA Supreme. Many of those churches that I attended then, I would consider today houses of demons. It's funny that I could probably find, I could pick any atheist out of the left, and they would be more Christian. They would hold more Christian values than the most fervent Christian that I went and picked out of Sunday church. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And we know it to be true. We know it to be true because the likelihood that that atheist hates immigrants, very low. The likelihood that that atheist hates LGBTQ people, very low. The likelihood that that atheist doesn't like people that looks like them, very low. You only find that in the pews next to you at Sunday service. And it's a shame. Now, I'm not coming for the Christians. I'm focusing on working class solidarity today because I feel the energy in the air, and I know that working class solidarity is the only way that we'll have liberation of the working class people. It's the only way that we'll have liberation of the houses, liberation of the food, liberation of the healthcare. The solidarity of the working class people is the only way that we'll turn every mega yacht into a coral reef. It's the only way that our lives will be better. And they will be better, comrades, because I know it to be true that the energy right now is different. It's different because we're playing with fire. And if we get burned, then so be it. Then so be it. I'll be the crispiest one there. You heard it here first. I'll be crispy. I'll be crispy like that plantation we all cheered about just a few months ago. That plantation I went go get some good content in front of. Maybe your Antifa CEO might make a trip back, but we'll be crispy like that plantation that all of MAGA Supreme cried about, that plantation that they were sad about because it's their heritage. The problem with this country is that we did not handle the engagement that ended in 1865 appropriately. We let white supremacy fester and continue to rise in this country, and we did not give the marginalized people who gained their citizenship a fair shake. And when we gave them an opportunity, we saw them flourish. We saw time and time again that even though certain people had 100-year head start, that we were still able to become doctors, lawyers, own property, build businesses, build banks. And they were so jealous, they were so upset, they came to burn it down. We face the same crisis today because we did not handle those events correctly when they occurred, because those people were able to get off scot-free, because those people were able to erect statues of supremacy, to name universities after the traitors who took up arms against this country. Because we allowed that to happen, we had to deal with J6. We have to deal with MAGA Supreme because we allowed the Confederacy to continue to show its disgusting face. We have to deal with the outcomes, with the consequences of that today. We will not get it wrong the second time. We will not. I love history. I study. What can I say? I read a lot. And history, one of my favorite things to read because history is one of the most interesting. My grandpa, convoluted man. You'll hear me talk about my grandpa a lot because that's who taught me how to be a man. And for all of the wrong, for all of the right, there was some good there. My grandpa told me that a wise man learns from other people's mistakes and a dumb one learns from their own. Now, I can tell you, I didn't take his lesson completely to heart. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I'm making mistakes right now. I'm making mistakes every day because I am human. But with that being said, I still try to study from the mistakes of others, and they're all written so elegantly for us in the books of history. We will not make the same mistakes that this country made before. We will not. Depending on how you study history, we see the arcs of so many things. But I like to view history through the lens of the oppressed, because through the lens of the oppressed, we get the real picture. I don't want my history whitewashed. I don't want it repainted and packaged up to me as some feel-good story, because history should not make you feel good. A lot of bad things happen. And even when we dig through all that crap to find those kernels of corn, terrible metaphor, but you get what I'm saying. It's still bad. I mean, it's still tough. Like, what are we supposed to do? That's why they whitewash it. That's why they don't want to teach it appropriately to the next generations, especially this administration. That's why they make it illegal to teach, because they know that the truth will set free the working class people. And they have to lie to us so that we can be divided on these made-up cultural issues. Because culturally, we all want the same thing: food, healthcare, housing, and the ability to pursue happiness how we see fit, unabridged and unadulterated by the government or others who do not agree with us. That was the ideal of this country, but that it'll never be realized. A country designed to subjugate people, a document designed to subjugate people, can never realize the ideals of equality. It's just fact. That's just the fact of the matter. That when they created the document, they were trying to figure out how to have as many bodies as possible under control by as few people as possible and call it representation. We know this to be a failed experiment, and we know it especially today because our interests as regular humans are not advocated for. Even, look, if we just strip it down, the Democrats and the Republicans, both parties are trash. Both parties have a billionaire problems. Just because at the inauguration, the billionaires sit in the front row for the Republicans and the billionaires sit in the back row for the Democrats, it doesn't make a difference because the billionaires are still at the damn inauguration and regular people are sitting there watching on TV. Because we didn't have the money to fund the campaign, because our $30 wasn't enough to get us a ticket to the ball. Come on. The billionaires are at the inauguration no matter who is inaugurated, no matter from what party they're inaugurated. And until we address that problem, the working class people will never have a good shake in this country. We'll never get a chance because we're being sold out to the highest bidder. Sold down the river to the highest bidder time and time again. Every election cycle, we see it. And when the people try to muster up the strength to have some candidates to speak for them, they come for them with every BS power that they've created over the years to maintain their control. Back to Kat Abou-Ghazaleh getting charged federally as a congressional candidate running in Illinois' 9th district, charged for protesting at an ICE detention facility, being brutalized, being pepper sprayed, being thrown and beaten on the ground. For Mamdani being labeled a T for Mamdani, being compared to the worst of the worst, when every day that man has gotten out there and said compassion, empathy, and helping others, Mamdani is closer to Jesus Christ than every one of those MAGA Supremes And that's why they hate him. That's why they want to cast him down, because they never paid attention in church. If anyone actually paid attention in church, they would be a communist. And maybe that's why I am here today. Because when I was punished, I used to get in trouble a lot. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't the best kid. I was a kid, but I did a lot of dumb things. When I was punished, I had to read the Bible, and I was punished a lot. Maybe that's why I'm a communist, because I actually read the damn thing. Not the whole thing. I won't sit here and flex on you like I'm some scholarly theologian, but it's a good read. A lot of stories is just drama. It's just straight drama. The drama of our people, of history. But maybe that's why, because I actually read the damn thing. I actually paid attention. I don't know. But how anyone can sit there and call themselves a Christian and not be upset that SNAP is cut, not be upset that people are being put on cages, it does not matter what your papers say. You are still a human being, and you should be treated with dignity and respect. And regardless of if the system was great or not before, it treated people at the bare minimum with dignity and respect, on the assumption that they would come here, live a good life, work a decent time, establish themselves on the path to become a citizen. And they'll say the right way, the wrong way. I had some MAGA Supreme clown yesterday, okay? 23-year-old, can't remember his name. Maybe it was Angel. His parents were Mexican immigrants, but they immigrated the right way. His parents met in Mexico, but they came to America and they immigrated the right way. His dad came first, became a citizen. Then his mom married his dad and became a citizen, or got green card, whatever, however it worked. And we explained to Angel, we had Latin lesbian on there. She explained to Angel that his mother was able to come to this country because of all of the work that the immigrants' rights people have done before that time, that if they would have tried to come to this country just 10, 15 years earlier, it would have not been possible. And still, he did not care. He wanted people to come here the right way. And so I asked Angel, and I challenge you to ask every one of MAGA Supreme who sits there and says that people need to come here the right way. Ask them, do they drive? And then ask them if they speed. And then ask them if they are driving the right way. And then tell them that if they're not driving the right way, that they are wiping their ass with the Constitution, that they're sitting there and trying to gatekeep from other people who probably live a more holier life, at least in comparison to the real Jesus, than MAGA Supreme. You know, it all comes back to the lack of working class solidarity. Because if we had true working class solidarity in this country, then none of these people would be exposed. None of our politicians would allow this to happen. The people in Congress would actually have a backbone, because they know they would lose their seats not based on Donald Trump, but based on the working class people in their districts. That's the problem with this country. They'll say the money. Is it the money, or is it the fact that we don't have any money? We collectively, because look, just because I threw on the suit, I know y'all are watching the videos a lot now. For those of you just on the audio experience, we do have a video experience. We're on all platforms. But for those of you who are watching, I know that you see that this is the same suit. I only own one suit, and I throw it on time and time again. I'm going to have to get this thing dry cleaned soon, because I'm no better than you. I'm broke just like you. I work paycheck to paycheck just like you. That's why I know that I'm the CEO of Antifa, because I'm just like you. We're all the CEO of Antifa, and we're all in resistance to this administration together. Just because I get on here and say it, you're no different than me. I understand that we're in the same fight. We are the same, one and the same. That's why MAGA Supreme hates us, because they want to be the same and they all want to look alike and act alike, and we want to be the same, but we all want to be different. It's funny how things work, but we see which experiment is more successful. Ours. When we include people, when we bring everyone in, when we allow everyone's voice to be equally weighted despite their net worth, our system will obviously win. Because our system is based on the people who are actually living in it. We've gotten so far from that in what we're living in today. The people who write the laws don't have to live in what we're living in. And for those industrious ones that made it through the trenches, they somehow forget the trenches, they somehow forget the struggle, and they allow us to continually be screwed over. But that is because those clowns in there do not work for you. Despite their interviews with your favorite liberal content creator, they don't work for you. They work for the billionaires. They work for the billionaires. We know this to be true. I don't know if money in politics is the problem, but I do know the fact that we don't have money, and that is a problem. Because if I had an extra $10 million to throw it around, I probably would throw some money in some campaigns across the country. I probably would throw some money at blasting a rocket to Mars. I probably would throw some money at all kinds of crazy things, because if I had disposable income, well, I'd use it disposably. But when the billionaires have disposable income, they leave it locked up. They're sitting on their piles of gold like dragons, acting as if it doesn't exist. Oh, their net worth. It's not real money. It's not real. If it's not real, then they don't need it. If that net worth isn't real, if that's not true cash, if that's not true liquidity, if that's not something true that they can take to the bank, if that's not something that we determine their status of society or their ability to raise more money, if that's not true, then they don't need it. And even if it is true, they don't need it anyway. Because if it's true, it's even more of a damnation that they have it. It's even more abominable. Because that means people are starving for nothing. People are starving for nothing. People are homeless for nothing. Because we have more than enough. And this is just America. Let's get right here. America first. We have more than enough in America for every American to get one plate. But not when we allow all these greedy... I gotta be careful with my choice of words. Gotta be careful with my choice of words. You know. I can speak without speaking because my people know. But these greedy, soul-sucking ghouls, they won't get it all out us. They won't. We're going to have to cut the live at some point today. We're going to have to cut the pod. I skipped lunch. I skipped my run. Look, your Antifa CEO rolls out of bed at noon like a true leftist. Rolled out of bed, brushed my teeth, took a shower, got shaved, skipped lunch, skipped the run, hopped right on. Had a few technical difficulties, still getting better at that. Hopped right on because I wanted to be with you in the time in which I had time available. And I thank you every day that you choose to be here with me, because I know at this point, especially with what we're doing, this is getting more dangerous by the day. And so the fact that you're choosing to be here with me, you're either just as dumb as I am, or you understand that the stakes are high, you understand that this is the only way that we can fight back right now. By coming together, by preaching a message of working class solidarity, by uniting for the economic blackout that's coming November 25th to December 2nd. Because working class solidarity is the only way that we'll have true liberation for the working class people. It's the only way that we'll have true liquidation of the billionaire class. Working class solidarity is how we'll turn every mega yacht to a coral reef. Working class solidarity. I'm going to keep saying it because we seem to forget. We seem to not realize that they've sent the National Guard, they've sent the military. Whenever we came together as workers, they would send the military to bust us up. Whenever we come together as workers, they send millions of dollars and they spend money on consultants instead of giving us raises, and they do this and they do that. And instead of just treating us like humans, instead of giving us our equity, they piss that money away. Could you imagine for 1 second, just for 1 second, all of these advertisements, okay? Could you imagine if they weren't just pissing that money away, how much cheaper a lot of these services and prices could be? That's what they don't realize. You don't need to you don't need $1 billion ad budget. You need to lower the prices on the working class people by $1 billion. You need to redistribute $1 billion through lower pricings for your goods and services. You don't need to buy your stock back with the extra $20 billion that you have on your balance sheet, because that means that was $20 billion more that you stole from working class people. Lower the damn prices. Cut the damn rent. Stop robbing us every chance you get. And you wonder why. You wonder why things are the way they are right now. Because there's not a single place that we can go that we aren't being robbed. In the one place, there's one place. This is a shout out, big shout out to all of our public libraries. Big shout out to every one of our public libraries, the pinnacle of communism, the pinnacle of socialism. Because if capitalism would have its way, every public library would be shut down because it's not profitable to educate everyone in the community for free. It's only profitable when we can charge them $40,000 a semester for tuition. So big shout out to every one of our public libraries that is making a difference. A real difference in this world. And to the librarians that are underpaid that deserve $100 an hour. To the teachers that are teaching, molding the minds of the youth that deserve $100 an hour. To the firemen risking their lives to protect our property that deserve $100 an hour. To all of the workers showing up 8 to 12 to 16 hours a day, 24-hour rotating call, 72 hours nonstop. To every worker out there deserving $100 an hour, I say it's there for you. It's there on those mega yachts. If we just get tired of seeing those mega yachts and we let the billionaires know nicely that the mega yachts are no more, well, I think we can get paid. If we tell the billionaires that the stock buybacks are illegal again, well, I think that we can get paid. Because what else would they do with that money but use it to invest in making things better? Use it to pay their employees. The $50 billion you just did in stock buybacks, you took that off my kitchen table. You told me I couldn't have a raise. Listen. This is the thing about it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If I got on our Q4 earnings call, because we're going to have our Q4 earnings call right before Christmas, and I told you, Antifa True, your recruiting numbers were absolutely amazing, but guess what? The bonuses, there's no bonuses this year. canceled. The shareholders, fat bonuses. We're increasing the dividend and we're buying back the stock. If I told you that, I hope that you would fire me. Because I work for you. You're the shareholders. That's the problem with these other companies. It's a lazy class of people that sit around sucking us off. It's a terrible expression. But a lazy class of people sitting around doing absolutely nothing. And so we go and ask them, boss, please, boss, I've worked so hard this year. Every time there was overtime, I signed up. Every time there was a vacation that needed to be filled, I signed up. I never missed a shift. I never called in. I never used sick time. I never used PTO. Every time I was here, I was industrious. I innovated. I cut costs. I did all these things. Boss, please, can I have a raise? Daddy, please, can I have a raise? And he'll say no. It's just not in the cards right now. We cannot afford it. And then he'll get on the earnings call and brag about how we're doing the $20 billion stock buyback, but we couldn't give bonuses this year, but we couldn't give raises this year, but we're increasing the dividend because the shareholders get raises. And if those poor peasants wanted a raise, then they should have been shareholders. If those poor peasants wanted food, then they should have got a job because we're cutting the food stamps. But the food stamps you can only get if you got a job, but you need a job to get the food stamps. It's all a trap. It's all BS to keep us down. But we're tired of being down. And I know we're tired of being down because the mass blackout, economic blackout from November 25th to December 2nd will be the largest economic blackout that the American people have ever seen, that the billionaires have ever seen. The mass blackout from November 25th to December 2nd will be the true show of working class solidarity, a true show of strength that we have not seen in a very long time. I am so excited for it because the energy is different right now. I'm hot right now. I hope you're hot right now because millions of people are on the brink of starvation, and even the people who were getting the SNAP, there were still millions of people just right here in America starving anyway. While the billionaires sailed around on their mega yachts and flew around on their private jets, I'm hot right now because why do we allow it? Why? We allow it because our representatives have been purchased by the billionaires. I'll say it time and time again. These clowns don't work for us. These clowns work for the billionaires. They're purchased by the billionaires. The longest speech on the Senate floor, longest speech on the House floor, nothing materially different because the billionaires own the opposition party. There is no opposition. And any time that there is any form of opposition, they beat us down. And now with this president, they send federal charges. I said it at the top of the show. I know mine are in the mail because speaking up is now illegal. Maybe this economic blackout for November 25th through December 2nd, maybe that's illegal. I don't know. We're going to find out. But I know for a fact it is the first pillar of working class solidarity. It is the first pillar of the liberation of the working class people. And it will be a true show of strength. And we should all be excited. We should all prepare to spend time with our families, to minimize our economic activity, to not buy anything for these fake Black Friday sales. Let's be honest. After all these BS tariffs, after all this inflation, after all the stock buybacks and all the dividend increases and the stock market's at the highest level it's ever been, you really think you're getting a deal for Black Friday in the Lord's year of 2025? You can save your money on that propaganda because you're going to need it. Your sales are going to be down this year, billionaires. We're telling you right now, save the ad blitz. I don't know if you can get your money back now. Things are probably in motion, but you just wasted it because we're not buying your BS this year for Black Friday. We know that it's not a deal. We don't need TVs. We need food. Put the food on sale for Black Friday, and maybe we'll come spend some money. But until then, there will be an economic blackout from November 25th through December 2nd, absent of your family travel, absent of your family meals. We will still minimalize our activity. We will still be partying everywhere, music festivals everywhere. Because that's what it takes. It takes us bringing the fire. It takes constant pressure every day. They're applying constant pressure to us. They're applying constant pressure to us in every way. I say it all the time. The billionaires are coming for everything that we have. So we have to apply constant pressure to them. We have to match their energy. We have to be just as slimy and gritty and unethical as they are. Because absent of that, they're running the table. We can't play the game if we're playing by different rules. And these billionaires will throw out the rules if it means that they can get a couple percentage points of margin. These billionaires will throw out every moral and every ethic and poison the rivers and poison our food and do whatever they can if they can get a couple percentage points of margin. But the working class solidarity that we see now is the first step of us fighting back. November 25th through December 2nd. Economic blackout. That's our ad. We're not running ads. Hey, I was listening to the podcast. For those people listening to our audio experience, I was listening to the podcast. I do not know who's making money off of us. I don't know how these ads are being ran. It's maybe just Spotify running the ads off our stuff. I'm going to try to figure it out because this should be a 100% ad-free experience. But these billionaires and the billionaire platforms are running these ads. I got to cancel Spotify. I'm tired of it. It's ruined my music listening experience. I can't get any music. Every playlist I listen to is some AI slop. It's the same songs. I can go to 100 playlists and 60% of the playlist is going to be the same songs. It's absolutely disgusting. These AIs have been integrated into everything in our lives and they are destroying it. You see it everywhere. You can't Google and get information anymore because the AI lies. People think ChatGPT. ChatGPT did. ChatGPT is wrong 90% of the time. And all of these other Meta AI, Gemini, whatever, they're all wrong 90% of the time on anything that is factual. And that's what we're integrating into every aspect of our lives. Every aspect. It's disgusting. But to go ahead and wrap for today, everyone. Thank you. Economic blackout, November 25th through December 2nd. Today's audio experience is sponsored by Liquidate the Billionaires. That's right. Liquidate the Billionaires with the ambitious goal of turning every mega yacht into a coral reef. If that is something that you're interested in, please get with Liquidate the Billionaires. Tap into our movement today. Also, your Antifa CEO would like you to point some attention to trying to feed people this Thanksgiving, because regardless of if the SNAP money is coming or not, we should all aspire to be a little bit more like Christ. We should all aspire to show these MAGA Supreme lunatics what we can do and feed a family this Thanksgiving. If you would like to feed a family, we do have a mutual aid organization that we are promoting. It is called VoixNoire, VoixNoire.com. You can feed a family, and we've chosen to uplift this one specifically because it focuses on brown bodies. And with $150 billion going into ICE, I feel like we need to protect and help brown bodies as much as possible because they are trying to, they're trying to police and traffic brown bodies. So those are the ones that are the most exposed right now. Those are the ones that I'm choosing to focus my energy on as one successful brown body to others. I appreciate all of your time. I appreciate everything. I appreciate the energy that you give me to continue going, and I appreciate your vote of confidence in me as your Antifa CEO. I will continue to speak up every day. I will continue to fight every day. We will continue organizing every day. And our coalition of the Leftist Alliance will be reaching a critical mass of 20 million followers before you know it. We've already collected millions of followers in our network. We will be able to speak to people in real time, almost instantaneously. Things are different now. The energy is different now. I know that you feel it. I know that you see it because I'm clean shaven. I'm in the suit. Your CEO is here. And we are pushing the tempo. We are taking the advantage. We are taking the initiative. And we will succeed. Succeed. We will succeed. Not secede. Not secession. We will succeed. We will prevail, and we'll do it together. Because only together will we prevail. We are unstoppable. Thank you for everything. Enjoy your time. Stay subversive. Drink water. Do your cardio. And prepare for the economic blackout, November 25th through December 2nd. Thank you very much. Your CEO is signing out.